Welcome to Love in the Time of Hydra, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 10th anniversary podcast. If you're listening live, you're a little early, but if you're listening in podcast form, this is December 9th. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what was going on 10 years ago, 2014, for the second week in a row. Blank Space by Taylor Swift, still the number one song. I meant to look it up last week, and I forgot to, but I have a feeling today's guest might be able to shed some light on what this song is, because I really don't know it. Also, for the second week in a row, Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, top earner at the domestic box office. This is interesting. NASA's Curiosity rover discovered evidence that Mars had a massive 96-mile wide lake 3.5 billion years ago. Pretty crazy. There's a lot of other news that's just like, wow, nothing and everything has changed in 10 years, and it was too bleak and I didn't want to share it. But just so you guys know, every week I get devastated by how awful the world is and still is. But you know what's not awful? 10 years ago, Judi Dench turned 80.
Yeah.
John Malkovich turned 61. And Tony's boy, Beau Bridges, turned 73. Nice little time for birthdays. But we all know that the most important thing that happened 10 years ago was the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2 winter finale, as they call it. What They Become aired on ABC at 9/8 Central. Hello, I'm Jamie Durack, and I'm here with my co-host, boyfriend, and level 2 Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, Tony Paletto. Hey, Tony, how you doing?
I'm good. Hi, Jamie. Thanks, everybody, for watching and for listening. Is Beau Bridges my boy? I mean, I like Beau Bridges, but I never knew we had that.
I feel like he's your boy. I feel like every time you see Beau Bridges, you're like, heck yeah, that's my boy.
I am always happy to see him, but
Yeah.
I didn't know I had that much credibility in my fandom of him. But you know what? Yeah, cool. Beau Bridges stan. I'll take it.
Yeah, I think so. Speaking of stans, we got a great guest today. She's a returning guest. She's an editor. She's worked on some cool shows. She was an assistant editor on Quantum Leap, some other cool shit. But more importantly, she's one of the biggest Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans I know. I became friends with her through the fandoms. Jackie Rogers!
Hello!
Hi. Welcome!
Hi, Jackie.
I'm really excited because this is like one of my favorite episodes, I think, of season 2.
Yeah, I'm going to talk later about all the people I couldn't get for this episode. But I'm so happy it ended up being you, because this is the kind of episode that like a mega fan should talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's her.
Jackie, last time you were on the show, we were here with Sari. Sari could not make it today, but I think we talked. It was Nothing Personal. Was that the episode we did?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So I was remembering Tony and I were in Florida. I remember because my mom made some kind of weird cameo. But so Jackie, you're also not home. Tell the people, where are you right now?
I am in Washington, D.C. right now. So yeah.
You're not in Canada for the final Eras tour.
No, I am not. Actually, I have like full on FOMO. Constantly getting texts from my friends. I have like a few friends there right now tonight. So actually I have a friend who's been there the past 3 nights. Like tonight's her third night. Yeah, it's insane. So but okay, I am rocking though. I am wearing my Taylor Swift cardigan.
Okay.
So.
Okay, you got both represented.
Yeah, I do have both.
Can you help me with what Blank Space is? Would I know this song from something?
Oh no.
Okay.
No. Like one of the most famous lines is like, I've got a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name. Right? I'm trying to think.
Sound familiar?
No.
Okay, Jackie, sing it. Go.
No.
So we gave her the opportunity. It's funny how much like Taylor is coming up on the show just with our top song thing. I should listen to that song. Just great, so that I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
It's a great poppy song. It's off of like, I mean, my favorite albums I feel like switch every day, but it's off of 1989 and like it's so good. And even in 1989, Taylor's version is just absolutely fantastic too. So it's a great with her more mature vocals is great.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. You've heard it here first, everybody. Moving on. I want to say hello to everyone in the audience. You guys are already chit-chatting. You're popping today. It's because I know you all want to talk about this episode. It's a crazy episode. And it's sadly the last show on our main podcast until March. That's how long this was. I know, but I want everyone to keep an eye out on our socials and follow up on our Patreon, because now is the time to join. The 10th anniversary of Agent Carter is January 6th, which means we're going to be starting on January 5th, going through that show. But you want to sign up now, because next week on December 15th, we're covering the Brett Dalton Holiday Classic, Once Upon a Christmas Miracle. And I'm pretty sure I can say I've secured an amazing guest, writer, director, and star of the Gotham award-winning film The People's Joker, Vera Drew. You do not, another editor, she was an Emmy-nominated editor as well before she made this film. So let me tell you, she's going to have hilarious thoughts on this Brett Dalton Christmas movie.
Cannot wait. Cannot wait.
And Tony, I'm very excited for you to get into Agent Carter, because Agent Carter has one of my other favorite characters.
Okay.
So I won't go into detail. Jamie knows, but you know.
Great.
Oh, I sure do. But before we get there, we do have more Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to talk about. Tony, tell the chat the rules.
Oh, yeah. So, guys, tag your spoilers. Hopefully, there are people that are watching this live, maybe in the chat, who've never seen it before, just like me, and don't want things to be spoiled. So just put spoiler alert before anything that pertains to an episode or something beyond what we're talking about today. Producer Maria is not here with us today, but she would stab you if she was here with us if you spoil something in the chat.
Yeah, I'm now like doing both. I just sent a message, a spoiler message as Lido. So we're getting crazy. We're getting crazy. Wow. What They Become, big episode, huge, gigantic winter finale, written by my boy, Jeffrey Bell. He was, of course, a showrunner along with Jedmo for the whole show. He wrote a few season 1 episodes, including 084, Tahiti, and Ragtag. And I can't bring up Jeffrey Bell without mentioning the fact that he wrote and directed my favorite series finale of all time, the Angel series finale. Take a drink. I'm not drinking right now, but I will take a sip of water. And then let's see, it was directed by Michael Zinberg, who has some crazy TV credits that date back to the 70s. Directed an episode of Cheers, which is kind of a big deal because James Burrows directed almost every episode of Cheers.
Seriously?
So if you snuck into getting a Cheers episode as a director, that's kind of a huge deal. He directed an episode of the original Quantum Leap, SVU, Charmed, Gilmore Girls. This was his first S.H.I.E.L.D. episode, but he did do one more in season 3, Parting Shot, which means nothing to Tony, but our listeners know that's a top tier season 3 episode. So can't wait till we get to there. And then of course, our 7 main cast members are back, along with many returning guest stars. We got Patton Oswalt, Kyle MacLachlan, Ruth Negga, Reed Diamond, and of course, BJ Britt as Agent Triplet. RIP. We're going to dive into this a lot later, but I just want to check in with Tony because we just watched the episode like an hour ago. How are you feeling?
I don't know. I don't feel good. I feel bad. I like Trips the shit, man. He's been the shit the whole time. So I feel really, really sad about him being a big old dusty rock person, crumbled. It's bad. But this is my favorite episode of the season so far. I'll just say it. I thought that the action cooked. I mean, it ended on a cliffhanger, and it really kept the momentum of that cliffhanger for all 47 minutes or whatever. It really, really cooks. A lot of dramatic shit popping off, and I was in total suspense, and I still have a whole basket full of questions about who and what and why, but I saw some shit, you guys.
Yeah, you did. Jackie, I know you love this episode. Tell us just your general thoughts. Did you rewatch it to prepare for this, or do you know well enough that you didn't have to?
I rewatched it last night at like 2 a.m. after watching night 2 of the Eras Tour in Vancouver. But what I was surprised at rewatching it was that like this was not a 2-parter. Right? Like,
no.
And just from the start that there's this huge adrenaline rush, and I'm already like seated in bed watching this, and I'm like on the edge of the bed, like, oh my God, like this is super insane. But yeah, Trip dying. I remember Trip dying. I had confused emotions because like Trip's dead, but then it's also like, what the heck is happening to Sky, and where are we going? Like, And then like I was like, is Sky also dead? What's happening? Where are we going with this? So it was a lot of an emotional thrill ride on this episode. And I just also remember sobbing about Trip because Trip was like one of my favorite, agents on the show.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at some of like the reviews of this episode, and some of the criticism was that like Trip never fully got to be fleshed out before he died, which I don't disagree with, but I also feel like that kind of makes it sadder. Like it really makes me sad, and they did a good job of faking us out, of making us think like Mac was gonna die, and then and all that, and especially like we'll talk about it more when we get to this part of the episode, but he just kind of runs in like, I'm here to help, like no, it's just like it's not intense until it is, and it is sad. And I'm sure people are wondering, yes, I did try to get BJ Britt on this episode, but I didn't get a response from his people, and I don't feel bad telling you all that because that has nothing to do with BJ Britt. Those emails didn't get to him. Like I am confident that he has no idea that he was invited on this show, so no blame to him, which is sad. I would have liked to have talked to him about this, but who knows, maybe we can do a spotlight in the future. That's why we have spotlight episodes. And then I wanted Jeffrey Bell, but it's hard to contact him, and then I even reached out to Brian Michael Bendis because he created the comics character that we are now introduced to, which I don't know if Tony has quite clocked it yet, though.
Yeah, I've got questions.
Yeah, I know, because like, for example, Brett Manis, one of our many longtime people, like when he watched this episode, he was such a comics fan, he hears Sky's real name and then what happens in the end, it's very clear who she's supposed to be from the comics. But Tony, you don't really know at this point.
No, I read some Brian Michael Bendis stuff.
Mhm.
He's awesome. I know that her name is Daisy. I don't know exactly what her power is. I could look it up, but I'm not gonna. You know what I mean?
No.
I do not know who this. I mean, and I kind of got the feeling that we were getting towards this. Like, okay, Sky is going to be, somebody from the comics, but I don't know who she is. I do not know this person. I do not know who this character is supposed to be. Maybe when next episode they'll say the name and I'll go, oh fuck yeah, of course. But at this point, I don't know.
I thought that would be the case. And people in the comments are like, why didn't you get Chloe Bennett on? I have not shot my Chloe Bennett shot yet. Like I eventually we're gonna try, but the thing is, this is not the episode for her, because I knew Tony wouldn't quite get where we're at, and like what am I gonna do, muzzle Chloe Bennett? Like, you don't talk about your character that you've been playing
good point.
since this, Jackie, what you were just gonna ask Tony something, I think. What were you gonna
say? Well, I guess also a generalized question. When did Cal start singing the song? It was the previous episode, right?
So in the dream last week, there was a music box that played it.
Right, okay.
And Tony, this is what I was kind of hinting at last week, where the music box song is Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer true, is what the song is.
And
cool. It's what HAL 9000 sings at the end of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. As he's being killed, as HAL the computer is being murdered by the astronaut who survived, he's saying, his like voice is going away. So Daisy, Daisy, and it's really ominous and eerie. So I didn't connect the melody, but yeah, cool.
I just remember like when this dropped, like between the week before and this episode, one of my friends and I were just like, and she picked it up on it before I did, and it was like, oh, she's XYZ, right? Like this is who she's going to be. But I also remember like the marketing behind like all of this and everything, and it was a really big like story of like, who is she, what is she going to do, like what is she going to do, who is she going to become? Like Marvel really, I feel like Marvel and ABC really put a lot of marketing behind this episode, especially surrounding Sky too, which was interesting to me.
Yeah, I will say, when I watched this for the first time, I was where Tony is. Like, I didn't know this Daisy character well enough at all to have any idea. But because of Brett was constantly telling me what was going on. So like after the episode, it was like, okay, this and this is what's happening. So I always had a little Brett in my ear. But let's kind of dive into what's happening, because this episode picks up right where the last one takes off. The plane's being targeted by Hydra. There's some cute stuff in here. I like that the Koenigs make Hunter sit bitch in there.
That's good. I love that.
Because that's I don't have siblings, but I feel like that's such a thing to do when you have siblings. Like you're forcing somebody to sit in that seat.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that one of the Koenigs is really stressed out and the other one's fine. You know, they are a little different.
Yeah.
I loved May's like when she's at the computer or whatever, and her just straight look over to Koenig too, like, I'm so fucking done with you. Like, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? And he just like walks off.
hmm
May really knew,
Salty Shield
man. I
fan.
like that she knew instantly that they were going to get shot the fuck out of the sky. Like
Oh,
she didn't buy that one bit. Like, okay, yeah, you give us this and we give you this, and then we're gonna leave. She's like, fuck no, we're dead in the water. We got to do something right now. I like that she didn't even need more information. She just knew, and I like that.
This was really reminding. I've been watching a lot of Star Wars this week. Like yesterday, I watched so much Star Wars, and it just because I like to do that a lot. And this very much had a Star Wars feel of like we're about to be shut down, serious mode, and then like we made it. We're not all dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I think honestly, in terms of like action and editing and effects, this might be my favorite action scene of the show so far. It's
cool.
really, really well done. All the stuff in the sky looks quite good. And it's suspenseful as hell and rousing when they get through it. Like it's super cool.
This was edited by Kelly Tsai, so she's done like the majority of all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and is a great editor. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, we got to get her on at some point. We got to use that connect. I know. Before I forget, I do want to say, go back a few comments. Salty Shield Stan bringing up that Chloe figured out who she was playing before the writers told her because she was doing research. I don't know if I knew that.
I forgot about that because I think she went to like a comic book store specifically and dug into a lot of the lore of who she was, and I think she went to like Mo and Jed or even Jeff and was like, "This is it. This is who I am," and they were like, "Yeah."
Got it. Well, I have some quotes later talking from everybody talking about like the buildup and how soon they knew and all that. But back into the episode, we got this weird like Ward's agenda, like taking Sky. That's not part of Hydra's plan. They wanted Raina. Just kind of picking up where the last episode was. Bobby's upset about Mac. It's cool that Trip has the Howling Commandos tech. How'd you? I feel like Tony, you probably had some feelings about that.
Well, I mean, wasn't it in the last season where they got their hands on some Howling Commandos tech, or was it earlier in this season and they stormed a base or something, and they had the little thing that you throw that's like step away. This is so and so. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Like they got their hands on some old Howling Commandos tech earlier in the show. So
I think so, yeah, because we know that Trip is a grandson of one of the Howling Commandos,
right?
So we already yeah.
Which is really, I feel like a really good connection from like not just the comics, but like MCU lore. It's like one of those small tie-ins that they did into a smaller character as well.
Yeah, it's a fun thing. And then we have Fitzsimmons' cute little scene where Gemma's like, Max might be alive, and Fitz is like, you don't have to just be nice to me. And then I like when she gives him a really good scientific reason why Mac could be alive, and he's like, that makes sense. I apologize. Like they're getting back a little, which I'm happy about. Like,
yeah.
Well, that first scene with them, I feel like in that conversation in the plane, like I just feel like you could feel the chasm between them at first. Like I was like, oh, this is making me emotional. Like,
yeah, but they've been fortunately like they've expressed themselves pretty vigorously in like the previous couple episodes. Like it's kind of all out there now in a way. So I think these little tricklings of them kind of finding their rhythm again is heartening to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreed. And then we get this little Bobby Hunter scene, and kind of the important thing is she's hiding something from him, a thumb drive. He sees it, and like Bobby's got something going on. Tony, do you have any feelings about this?
We've made reference in previous episodes to her history, her Hydra history, right? When she was deep undercover and she's got some dirt. She did some bad things. So I'm assuming it's pertaining to that. Not I don't think she's withholding anything that would, that's harmful or any like that's gonna like put anybody in jeopardy, or I don't think she was withholding anything that could potentially save somebody from jeopardy, but I do think she's protecting herself. It's kind of the impression I get from it.
Yeah. Jackie, at this point in the show when you're watching, like, what were your thoughts on Bobby and Hunter?
I just love their back and forth. And actually, I have a note here that said, when this is all over, I'm going to cry for a week of what Bobby said. I was like, this is such a meme.
Yeah.
True. Yes. We should use that more.
It really is. I don't know. I love Adrian as an actress in this, and like in just what she was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I don't know, they're just so funny together, and their chemistry is just great. It bounces off the TV.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're both really hot, which is a nice bonus. And then big moment. Sky meets Dad, who we learn is named Cal. I don't think we had heard his name before.
No.
This is me for the last couple weeks writing Cal in my notes and then erasing it because but we now know he's Cal. I love this scene because I love Kyle's performance so much. He's trying so hard to keep it together, but the man's a little crazy. We learn all the backstory about Sky's mom and born in China and everything. Kyle's so good here. Tony, I just want your general thoughts.
Yeah, dynamite scene. It's nothing. What's so interesting is like we've been building this episode up a lot, but I didn't learn anything new. Like there's no real new information in here. Like
you did. You just don't know it well enough to know what it is.
Yeah, I guess. But what he's explaining to her, he's learning it. We already know everything he says in this scene. And I really wanted the scene to keep going, but he's like, now I have to go kill Whitehall. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense too. So like he boogies, but like, no, it's very intense. I love watching Kyle MacLachlan crawling out of his skin. I love watching Chloe Bennett's reluctance to feel the fatherly warmth that he is giving. Can't help but do it. Great scene. Kidding me? It's really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jackie?
Rewatching this, I was like, wow, I actually have a way more of an appreciation for Cal, because I remember when I first watched it, I was like so skeptical of it because I'm like very I just in general this whole episode is very, there's a lot of father-daughter parallels or whatever, and I feel like watching this it was like earned between Cal and Sky, and then Sky and Coulson later down the road. But like he's trying real hard, and like I'm actually like enjoying it more this more time, and like it's also super earned too to get to where like they were from previous in the season.
This to me, when I think about Kyle on the show, I think about Cal, like it all comes down to this is the scene.
Yeah.
And not just because of the Daisy name drop, but just the way their performance is so good. I love Chloe in this scene because she's like afraid of him, but she's trying not to be. There's so much emotion. I think she plays it really well. I don't think she sometimes gets enough credit for what she's pulling off here because there's a lot of layers to what's happening. And she's hearing like devastating information, like your mother's organs were ripped out and she was left dead in the ditch. Like
it's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
So gruesome on the show sometimes. Yeah. So gruesome.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Cal says "best day ever," which is definitely a meme we all use a lot. Like the fandom uses that a lot.
Love that line.
Yeah.
I just Chloe's emotion in it, just like you can see like the edge of the tears, like in like on her or whatever, and you really did feel that emotion.
Mm-hmm.
You cry.
Yeah, I was tearing up a lot this episode. The plan is kind of forming where it's all coming close together. Coulson tells Sam Koenig that if things don't work out to implement Project Theta if something goes wrong, which is interesting.
Don't know what that means. I bet you guys don't know what that means. Nobody knows what that means.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just have to move on from that. Let's see. out of my notes here. Okay, and then we have like this is where like all the Hydra people kind of come together. We got a whole scene with Raina, Ward, Cal, Whitehall, Agent 33, Sky. All like this is like a crazy, like a really tense scene. I really like when Cal's like, if my daughter wasn't here, I'd tear you and your men to pieces. I like this idea that he feels like he doesn't want to get too violent in front of her.
Yeah. Well, he's already like she called him a monster, and he said all those things are true, and we saw him react to him with the violent mess that he left behind earlier in the season. So yeah, she's pretty. He's doing his best, but like I called it earlier, I just think he's too far gone. Like he's the path that's led him here has been too violent and too insane. I don't think he's holding on for dear life to his humanity, but like I just don't know if there's ever going to be anything substantive between the two of them.
Fair. Jackie, how'd you feel about this scene? I want to call out like Raina being like, Ward, you're in love with Sky. Like,
yeah.
I just like a lot of my notes are like Ward is such a loser, like constantly throughout.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so over you.
Love it. Love how much he sucks. It's such a consistent level of sucking.
It really
Good job, Brett Dalton. Yeah.
It really is. Sorry to the Ward fans.
Oh, we love to hate him though. And okay, and then meanwhile we've got Trip and Fitzsimmons going like with their hazmats to just put the bombs around. And there's this cute moment where Fitz is becoming a little more confident. It's and he's like, I can do it, I'm fine, and he walks the wrong way, but it's like a cute moment. Tony, where how are you feeling about where Fitz is? Does he seem better a little bit to you?
Totally. Yeah. He has been improving, I feel like, over the course of the show. And like I said, the baggage that he and Gemma are carrying around has been kind of let out. And so, yeah, he seems better. He seems, I watched him hack into a database and stop Trip from bleeding out. So like, he's still got the juice as far as I'm concerned.
I will say, I think at this point, I was kind of shipping Gemma and Trip because I was like, in all caps, I have like Gemma and Trip flirtation. Oh my God, here.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also feel that jealousy a little bit too from Fitz.
Yeah.
Well, the first time Gemma met Trip, she definitely was like,
yeah,
he's hot. She didn't say it, but she said it with her eyeballs. We
she
knew.
did. She did. Yeah, no, I remember. I was totally down for it. I think I feel a little differently now that I know poor Fitzy boy is so heartbroken and infatuated still and can't be in the same room as her. And I think, but you know what? The show took care of that for us.
oh, so sad.
Yeah.
And then we get this whole thing where Cal like escapes, but he leaves Sky and Ward like nobody. And then he's ready to kill Whitehall, and then fucking Coulson shoots him first, and worst thing he could have done.
Yep.
And I love Clark's delivery of "You're welcome."
Yeah. Yeah. He had no idea. Coulson's just in there doing his job, shooting bad guys. Turns out that this one was a little important to old Cal. And he has a meltdown when he realizes he didn't get to rip this man apart.
He beats the shit out of Coulson.
He does. Yeah, Coulson was cooked. If Sky had not said "Dad" and stopped the punching. I
remember like a lot of people on Tumblr and AO3 or fanfiction or whatever, everybody was like, well, did she call Cal dad or did she call Coulson dad? Like, which one was it? And I'm always like, it's both.
It's it like
but also Cal.
Yeah.
It's Cal and it's AC. Let's not forget that his name is AC.
It's in that moment of like, okay, what do I say to him? What do I say to Cal, to this guy that I just met, to get him off this other person that I really love and admire, who has like quite literally like adopted me into this like larger family or whatever, to get him off him or whatever. And then she said the right thing, right? And because he immediately was like, oh crap, like I'm fucking up here in front of my daughter. Like I can't show her, she's already calling me a monster. Like I can't show her the more dangerous side of me.
and it's so easy, and not just in that scene, in damn near every scene with he keeps saying, "Let's not lose our heads." He's always losing his fucking head. Like,
He's
and
talking
that's
to
his thing. Like,
himself.
yeah. It's kind of more of his mantra, but like it's very easy. Even in his big dialogue scene with Sky, you know, she makes the remark that he's quote working for Whitehall, and he trips. Like it's that bleeding edge, that rage is like he's taking all of his energy to tamp it down, and on the slightest thing can make him really angry and shouting. So I feel like that's what I mean when I say like he's too far gone.
Yeah. I want to roll it back to though, because like we have not mentioned the fact that, because I think we passed it, Sky shooting Ward. And
No, we haven't gotten there yet.
Wait, we
No,
haven't.
yeah, I don't think.
My time.
No, we're not.
Okay, sorry.
We're almost there. We're so
Okay.
close to there.
But I would not let that go by.
Okay.
I want to shout out Defrosted Robot in the comments saying Whitehall's death is kind of anticlimactic, which works because like we're kind of in the same position of Cal. Is like that's it, and I think it's worth noting, like, you know, Tony has now been trained with Buffy and Angel to learn that like all the seasons have a big bad, and Whitehall was seemingly the big bad until now. Yeah. So it's like, who's the big bad of this season?
I mean, it's easily could be Cal, but I mean, Raina's down in the hole, and God knows what. Like, I got questions for it. We'll get there, but yeah, I don't know.
I feel like answers will definitely come over the next part of season 2, because I feel like there's
in March.
That. Yeah. But Raina definitely is a great answer right now, and yeah, I can't wait for you to see who she becomes. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's poetic. It really is poetic.
It almost makes me sad though. Okay, but we'll talk about it in March.
I'm gonna leave the room at some point.
No, yeah. All right, so this is where Sky shoots Ward. Like Tony had a good laugh at this moment.
I laughed twice. I laughed when she shot him because it made me so happy, and then a little while later it cuts back to him and he's just sitting there bleeding, and I laughed some more. It's just like, I love that she shoots him 3 fucking times.
Yep.
And I'm just like, oh, she was not kidding around. And it just makes me happy because we watched throughout this season these testy interactions with him, her telling him that she fucking hates him, and him being like, I understand. All I can do is tell the truth. And I'm just like, you fuck. And so then to have him turn his back and her to be like, oh, I'd fucking shoot him 3 times, I guess. And just blah, blah, blah. And it just, and his surprise, I'm like, yeah, you were stupid. You fucking loser. Jack, you said it earlier. Like, he is a loser and he lost it. He got one in the ribs.
Yeah, I was so happy. Like, I cheered. And I know when I originally saw the episode, I cheered. And it's also, again, such an earned moment for her, right? Like, everything you just said, like, and also just not just over the entire season, but like, he's nagging her throughout this episode as well. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, and it's just like it's the part of the turn of like later on Sky. So
yeah. Well, then also, I think a lesser show would have played the moment that happened with her dad, where it's like, I wanted to shoot him, but I couldn't. And the fact that this did not do that with Ward, that she just, without thinking or hesitation, shot him 3 times in the side, was great.
In general, the way that the women on the show are written they're so great, because each of them have like different characteristics, and like I feel like on any other network show, right, like if you go back to season 1, like Sky probably would have played into Ward or whatever, and maybe even turned Hydra or whatever, because and like play into that whole love. But then I was like, no, fuck that, fuck Nazis, like we're gonna shoot this guy 3 times.
Yeah. Jamie, how did that make you feel?
Oh, great. But I'm curious, Tony, though, because Brett Dalton spoiled a little bit of Ward's fate for you. Did you think when she shot him that was it? Did you think that? I mean, obviously he didn't die because he's in more of the episode. But in that moment, did you think that he was dead for like a second?
No.
Okay.
No. I didn't think so. I just thought he got really, really, really fucked up, and I liked it.
Yeah. I love that she doesn't hesitate. I think it's just a really good Sky moment. And then, we get basically Sky telling Cal, like, you need to go. Like, get out of here. And he says he will come to me when you become what you become. And this is, of course, when he says Daisy. He calls her Daisy. Huge, huge, huge for some people. And then I love the scene because she's crying. Coulson's beat up. She's mad at herself for not killing Cal. She couldn't do it. And like she's been doing so well under the May's school of controlling your emotions, but it leads her down to that tunnel anyway. How did you feel about that whole interaction, Tony?
It was good. Yeah, Chloe's just bringing it, man. She's doing such a good job in this, and I think it all worked. Yeah, I don't have any particular thoughts. I just think that it was really well executed. Everything kind of everybody's coming to a head in this, and you don't need an explanation. We know everybody really well now, and things are just happening, and it's all organic. That's really what I would say.
Jackie, do you have any special feelings about this scene?
It's just the start of her like strength or whatever. And I mean, I could go on about my love for Sky. I want to not sidebar, but I do want to say that before I forget, the diviner and the Terrigen crystals are on display in the collector's office in California Adventure.
Cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So every time I'm on the Guardians attraction, I'm like, I reach out for the diviner and I'm like, oh, what will I become?
Sweet.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
We gotta look out for that. Also, I just want to say, just back to we're getting shot. She shoots him like 3 times, and he's like not even like he's fine. Like, come on, shoot him in the face.
Well, she took the plate out of his vest, and so 2 of them hit the vest, and one of them went through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. So here it's all coming together. Sky goes down to the tunnels. Rainel's down there. Zombie Mac is like leading the way. Coulson's following. They're ready to blow up the tunnels, but then Trip's like, "Oh fuck! I gotta go down and stop all these bombs we just did." And Tony, you were kind of enjoying Trip. Like, it was funny watching him like hustle to get all the bombs.
I was honestly just laughing out of, I think, pride. Like, the dude he's like, May's like, Sky and Coulson went down after him. He goes, damn. And then he just goes. And they're like, no, you can't. It's dangerous. And he's like, this is why he's a real one, man. This is why Trip's the man. He's like genuine soldier hero guy. And he's like, well, we got people down there. I go now. It didn't really matter. Nothing else mattered. And that's a really beautiful way for a guy like that to meet his end. He's doing his thing.
Yeah. He just fully accepts it. I know there's some story of them calling in BJ and like Mo and Jed telling him that, they are going to kill him off. And I wish I could remember it. Maybe somebody in the chat can, but yeah. It was just also really sad.
Yeah, it is really sad. But before we get really deep into this big finale, we're going to take our quick 30-second break. Without Maria, let's see if I can do it. You know the drill. Fill up your drinks, go to the bathroom. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Love in the Time of Hydra. We are talking season 2, episode 10 with our friend Jackie, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. mega fan. Huge winter finale. It's all coming together, all in these tunnels. There's like a temple. Coulson's running around. Sky finds Mac, but he won't budge. The Raina and Sky finally coming together. It doesn't destroy life, it gives life. What we become, all that business. I want to talk about, before we get to the meat, this moment where Coulson has to fight Mac, and how easily he takes Mac down. Coulson is beat to shit. I'm sorry, I don't think he could knock Mac, even though Mac's a zombie. I don't think he could have easily knocked that giant ass man down like that.
Yeah. I watched him dodge a punch, but then he did like it's kind of the Captain Kirk double fist punch, like onto his back, and did like so. I mean, I believe that the force of that could have knocked him over, but Mac was on the ground like, oh. I'm like, no. Mac himself would have sustained that easily, not to mention zombie Mac.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, Tony, did you think Mac was going to full on die? Because I remember the first time I watched this, I was like, oh, Mac's a goner. Like, he's dead.
No, I didn't think he was going to die. I don't know why. I don't know. I didn't see how he was going to come out of it, but I was pretty confident he was going to make it. And I'm glad he did.
Yeah.
You know, I like Mac a lot. He's got a lot of heart. He's definitely got big brother energy for this whole crew.
Yeah. It's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
So the big doors closing, Trip makes it in, Coulson does it, thank goodness. This is when the obelisk opens, crystals come out. Raina and Sky get these like husk things going around them. Trip kicks the crystals, but he gets jabbed. He gets stabbed. In this moment, Tony, did you know he was a goner?
It was all happening so fast. I did think that the poor guy, like, well, I think the question that's lingering is what would have happened had he not kicked the crystals? Like, was the process complete or did he interrupt it? I really don't know. What more could have happened outside or inside those husks that Raina and Sky are inside? Really curious detail. But his choice makes total sense. Like, he's not supposed to be in there. He is not supposed to be in there. He's not supposed to even gotten this far because there should have been a zombie Mac there to kill him. But you know, he makes that choice, and it's a sensible choice. But he pays the price. He gets husked, and there's no cracking out of it for him. He's just ruined. But we didn't cut to Raina. Like, we saw the husk overtake her, but we didn't see her breaking out of it in any way, right? That's what I think.
It shows her. It shows Raina really quickly, but you can't really see her.
Yeah.
Okay. So presumably she's undergoing the same experience as Scott.
Yeah, you see like this part of her, and this isn't that much of a spoiler because it's on her. There are spikes coming from her face.
I thought that I saw that. And I thought that was crazy. And then I guess I was not detecting whose eyes I was looking at as they were both coming out of the husk. And so again, it all happened really fast. Like, if I could have rewound it and watched it again, because I was like, a lot of information going there.
Yeah.
And I was definitely tearing up. Tony, did I sense some water in your eyes?
Oh, for Trip? Probably.
Yeah.
I'll drop a tear for Trip. You kidding me? What a champion.
Yeah. It was this is our first really big death of the series, unless you count like some like Garrett, Victoria Hand. But in terms of like team, this is the first big emotional death gut punch, I think, of the series.
I'd say that's right.
Yeah. I also really loved Trip, like when he was like, what's supposed to happen? And then Raina just goes, something beautiful, right? Because she has a way better understanding of everything that's going to come because she was taught certain things than Sky. So, and also juxtapositioned between that and who she does become. So,
and then the end tag, we see another glowing obelisk, and a man with no eyeballs is like, "How somebody became something." So
Yeah, that's what he said.
yeah, Tony, do you have any kind of guesses as to what's like a bigger picture?
First of all, that man didn't have eyeballs, but he also didn't have eye sockets. The man had no eye stuff. None of his eye stuff was there. It was just flesh. Yeah. So that was strange. Yeah. Okay. There's more than one obelisk. Here you always go. You always want me to predict things. I don't know.
Well, I just feel like a lot. We're in the mid-season finale.
Yeah.
Big things are happening. Like you have to people are becoming things. You
Yeah.
have knowledge. Beyond.
Yeah. Yes. And so the obelisk glows, alerting the other, diviner holders out there in the world that they got a new friend or enemy if they feel like there's too many already. And yeah, I think for all I know, No Eyes is the big bad of the show. Who knows? You know.
So when you talk about the other diviner holders, you don't have necessarily guesses of who that could be. If there's like a certain type of, do you understand what I'm asking you?
No.
Okay, great. That's fine. Jackie and I'll talk about it when you leave the room. Before we get into the history and everything, was there any other specifics we didn't talk about that either of you wanted to bring up?
I had one other note. I actually had a couple of other things to say that were brief. One is that Bobby looks fucking amazing in her like shield uniform.
Yeah.
That costume is sexy as hell. And the other thing, I just want to dog on the bad Hydra pilots from the beginning, who like they shot the missiles and then the bus releases flares that explode the missiles. And then they get into the clouds and they see the smoke and they're like, mission accomplished, sir, confirmed. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Where's the plane you allegedly shot down? You look into, I just thought that was a really, really lazy Hydra bad guy. But you know what? That's Hydra for you.
Jackie, did you have any other thoughts?
One of my thoughts that just came to me was just like, good on the production for actually shooting very, very, very small parts of this in San Juan, because as I know personally, shooting something in not your natural habitat is incredibly hard. So good for them for doing it and pulling it off. And also it gave us a really good Bobby Hunter moment, one of the stereotypical moments where it's like, oh my God, we have to hide. Let's kiss and make out. So
yeah, it worked for Natasha and Steve, so it's good enough for them. Yeah.
That's exactly where my head went.
Yeah.
So before we get into history, Tony, who is your episode MVP?
Oh, Chloe Bennett, easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jackie?
I mean, it's Chloe.
Yeah, I want to give it to BJ because like it's just sad and he's gone. But like aside from his big heroic moment at the end, he it's not like he was doing a bunch of episodes. So I think we got to unanimously give this one to Chloe. Last week we did a vote and my pick did end up being the winner, which was Ming. Sometimes it's like, is it the actor or the character? Who's the but right now I think it just goes both ways. This is Sky for sure. I think that the
sorry, go ahead.
No, what were you saying?
No, go ahead. Sorry, I broke up. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, the chat seems to be agreeing. It seems like some second place Kyle, which yeah, I mean,
totally
agreed. But I think that's the winner.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there are a lot of quotes from the showrunners about this episode, but a lot of them have to do with the Daisy reveal, and because once that name came out, they were open about what that meant, but Tony doesn't get it, so I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let him work towards it.
Sorry.
But I will say that they that's okay. That's totally fine. You have to work at your own pace, Tony, and we respect you for it.
Thank you.
But I will talk about what they said about Trip dying. They basically, like, we didn't take it lightly. Jed Whedon said, we need to establish that there are stakes in our world, that there can be real consequences, which I agree. I say it all the time. I like when TV shows hurt me. And talking about how like emotionally complex and the despair he talked about, and I think that's important. And then another cool quote is that Ming talked about playing Agent 33 because I think like she did such a good job that we forget that Ming is like pulling double duty in the season.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was really in awe of her performance in the sequence when Agent 33 didn't know what to do after not having a master. It was a really good moment. Because like pretty much the majority of that job is just look mean as fuck and kick people's asses. But like when that character basically broke because she didn't have any direction, and I feel very not good about her now being with Ward. That's a ugly combination.
Yeah.
Jackie, how do you feel about that? Oh, I see. Your expression told me.
Yeah. I will say though, real quick though, I feel like it was one of the first times I noticed it, but the little subtleties with when half of her face was there, right? You could hear the digital tech voice right under her original voice. And I just thought that was like really clever of them to come up with that to like show, because you know she had that fake face of May on was really good.
And her hair is much flatter than real May.
Yeah, that's the real difference. Is the flat hair.
That's what will give it away for me.
Tony, Alice wants you to know that it's more entertaining when you don't know things. So you're doing the best work you can do. By
Alice, I really appreciate that, but you know, I now have to go 3 months before I get an answer, and I'm just gonna be sitting here twiddling my thumbs, and then that character name's gonna come flying in, and I'm gonna say, "Oh," or something, probably.
You should let him watch like the marketing videos that they did, like that, you know. Throughout
like leading up to this episode.
Yeah, leading up to the next episode, because there's.
I have to post today's. I forgot to do that. Yeah. But another just a fun thing, a mistake is that apparently when Coulson and May are talking to Simmons on the speakerphone, the remote control Lola is on the desk, but in the next shot, it's like removed to another table. So we love a little movie mistake.
They were playing with it. They were clearly playing with it in between takes.
Yeah. Tony, before we kick you out, was there anything else?
No, I think I've said all the things, but I'll say some thank yous to some people. So thank you to Stephanie at Eclectic Muses for doing our artwork. Thank you to Ryan Miera of Yellow Pills at Yellow Pills Music on Instagram. Thank you to our producer, Maria, who's not here with us today, but she's awesome anyway. And thank you so much, Jackie, for being our guest.
Thanks for having me.
Always
we love your energy. I just love that Shield made us real life friends. That's just a special thing. Jackie and I went to the movies a couple weeks ago. Like, we're real friends. It's all because of this television.
Not being in LA is the fact that we can't hang out right now.
Yeah. But soon. Reminder to everyone to follow us at LitoPod on Instagram and Blue Sky. Trying to make Blue Sky happen. Like and subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, all those places. Leave us a review. And remember, since we're not here till March, you got to keep an eye out on the socials so you know what we're doing over on Patreon. It's only $1 a month to join Patreon, and it's gonna be some good stuff. Before we kick Tony out, Jackie, where can the people find you? What do you have to plug?
So I have a plug. I will be cutting a short film next February. It's called Yokai. And if you're in the LA area, on Friday, they're doing a fundraiser because we're fundraising for the short. And it's at, hold on, where did my I wrote it down. Anyways, I will get that part to you. But they're
post it, and we'll share it.
Yeah. And but I think people will love it. Love the short. The script is great. It's about a Japanese American witch and her grandfather racing to stop a dark wizard while they're in an incarceration camp. So,
whoa, so that sounds rad.
Yeah, if you love Supernatural, if you love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and you love Timeless, you'll really love it. And we also have a GoFundMe as well, which I will also give you guys the link to too. So.
Yeah, we'll 100% share that. Awesome, Tony, get the fuck out of here.
I gotta leave the room. I'm going.
Oh, Maria's not here. It's up to me to get his thing out. I did it.
There we go.
Listen, I can do these things myself, but I really much prefer when Maria's here too.
I mean, having a producer around is always helpful.
It is nice. Okay, so wait. So first of all, I really thought Tony was gonna click Inhumans, like because he knows the show Inhumans existed around this time.
Yeah.
Like I was just waiting for him to say the word, but he's not. And like you said, Terrigen, but like that hasn't been said yet, so I just like kind of ignored it. No, it's okay because he doesn't know. Like I was really waiting for it to click. Also, him and I have watched the first episode of what's the cartoon? Is it Marvel Rising? Is that the name of the animated show? We've long before this podcast, we watched that episode, and I was like, oh, that's Quake who's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because we didn't know, like, and he's just forgotten all of that. Like, he knows who Quake is. I know he does.
Oh, I love that so hard. Because I was thinking I could not remember if they said the word Terrigen crystals because the blue, like, they're crystals. They just, I guess, never really gave them a name until later. But yeah.
And I don't remember when we actually hear the word Inhumans. I feel like Fitz says it next episode of like, but not like in an official, not with like a capital I. But so I it's just like, come on, let's get there. And people are asking, are we calling her Daisy yet? And I just want to make it clear, you can call her Daisy in the chat. But we're gonna stick with calling her Sky because Tony doesn't know that she's gonna go by that yet. So we're just gonna keep it going.
I have to say that when that first came out, I was having like disagreements with some of my friends because I was like so gung-ho with just calling her Sky constantly. Because it was a name that she like chose herself and I really like wanted to honor that. But like I don't know, I realized that like her accepting who she was is more where her power, you know, not just her like superhuman inhuman power, but her power within herself stood.
And I also feel like she does it partly to honor Cal as well.
Yeah.
Because and I like that because ultimately like he's not bad deep down. And I really love the way that they end. And I wish that we'd see him again. It's sad that we don't see him beyond this season.
And also the complications with Jiaying, right? Like there's got to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's probably trying to honor her mom in some way too. Like you see that back in, flash forward to season 7 when like her mom's trying to kill her again. So.
Oh, I can't wait for that shit. We're so far away though. But speaking of far away, like I obviously couldn't say that to Tony, but I didn't get BJ on this week. Hopefully by season 4 we'll be a little bigger that Rex will respond to me because when he comes back in season 4, that was such an amazing surprise.
Yeah.
The framework arc, everyone knows, is my favorite thing. Oh, okay. Also, I'm sorry, I just realized something. There's a poster up on my wall, the prop I have from season 4 that I got from doing the panel. It literally says, harboring one betrays all, report inhuman activity. Like, this is Tony's home. The words inhuman are giant up here in the fucking guest room, and he's never clocked it before.
You're gonna, like, when you get to that, you're just gonna have to be like, look.
Yeah. I know. Well, so we're moving and we're trying to like make a podcast space in our new home. And if that happens, it's like, well, I feel like my cool shield stuff should go up, but it's a little spoilery, so I don't know. Speaking of, a couple people in the comments were like, Jackie's shirt's a spoiler. I'm like, Tony will never in a million years understand what that is.
Okay, well, this is the second time. I will say though, this is the second time I've worn a spoiler-y shirt on. But I specifically did not bring or did not wear my Fight Like a Girl shirt yet because Tony hasn't, seen Daisy Sky. Oh my god, I always have to like catch myself. It's so weird still saying Sky. Because Tony hasn't seen her yet in the costume. In the yellow costume, like I love the purple, and they obviously did that because of Marvel Rising, but like the yellow costume means a lot to me. So
yeah. I feel like at this point, if we slip up saying Daisy, it's fine because he's heard the name. So it's like we're free of all that. But okay, I just want to bring back the trip in season 4. Did you when that happened, was that a surprise for you, or because you were did you know he was coming back?
I can't remember. I feel like no. I might have also just still been very excited to see him and be like, oh my god, we have him. But then like once Brett came back and I was like, I love this, but also like so scared that they're like gonna fix the ways with Ward, and I just didn't need that to happen. So
I think it was perfect what they ended up doing with Ward in that, because God, this again, I've said it a million times. I love the framework so much. I cannot fucking wait to get there. And then and just all this Bobby stuff. I got to bring up the fact that we're about to get like the second Shield, the real Shield.
I was thinking about that because I was like, when we were kind of talking about Bobby, I was like, wait, where are we in the season? Have we gotten to the real Shield yet? And then I was like, oh no, we haven't. And the great thing about that is that Hunter and her were split, right? Like, I don't know. It's going to be really, I don't know. Tony's reaction is going to be great to that, I feel like.
He's just going to be excited about Edward James almost. Like that's kind of the thing. Like he's going to be hyped to see him. Yeah. And then Project Theta, like Tony obviously knows Age of Ultron is the Marvel movie that I watch the most, and Tony lives with me. So like I know he's seen that movie a lot, but like he doesn't know that Project Theta is connecting into Age of Ultron, and I'm so excited that coming up in May, I think, is when we get to talk about Age of Ultron, because I love it so much. But I kind of forgot that's when he said Project Theta. I was like, oh yeah, that's the helicarriers.
Yeah, which was a really good reveal. I remember, because what came out first? Ultron came out first, right?
Yeah, well, I think if I'm not mistaken, in an episode of S.H.I.E.L.D., we see the helicarriers, and then Ultron comes out.
Oh, okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I'm pretty sure we see them, and then next episode, next is Ultron. Boy, oh boy, cannot wait.
I just remember getting into like probably Twitter arguments at that point, being like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon. They connected it to Ultron, and people being like, what did they do? And it was like Coulson's the reason for the helicarrier in Ultron, and everybody's like, no. And I was just like, let me have my canon, please.
Come on. Oh, and then finally Raina, like it always makes me like, because the fact that her whole thing was like being hot and manipulative, and then she's not hot anymore, does make me a little sad for her. Like, and she's all like, it's got like she can't sleep because her face is all pokey.
But it really is like, one of my notes that I have is the fact that like it is really, as I said earlier, it is poetic because she was chasing this ideal. She was chasing this idea because she did learn about, the Inhuman. She did learn about Terrigenesis. Like she knows all of that, and she thinks she's going to become, like Sky, like, other, Inhumans that she knows. But she literally becomes a thorn, and the most ugliest thing that like we've seen, and it's just I don't know, it's very poetic in a way.
Yeah, and Alice in the comments wants to point out that it's Ruth Negga, so she's still hot, which is fair, but I mean, come on. I also think it's interesting that like the whole first season she's looking for a clairvoyant, and then that's what she becomes.
Yeah. And
so I'm sorry, I forget who, but somebody in the comments was like, but they never actually say that. Like they should have brought up the word clairvoyant. Is kind of like a beautiful full circle moment. And she's another one who she's gonna die soon, but we do get a cameo from her. Is it season 5 where we get like a flashback of her and Ian Quinn in like an end tag?
I forgot about that. Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god. But wasn't that like a deleted scene or something? I think it was footage because the actor who played Ian Quinn quit acting. Someone me, yeah, or whatever, and I feel like it's footage that they previously had that they like cut out that they brought back, but I could also be
wrong. No, people in the comments are saying that that's correct, which I didn't know. I just remember when it happened, because season 5 is so ingrained in my head because that's when I started covering the show, and I remember I just moved to New York, and I just remember watching that in my little New York apartment that I was living at the time, and just being like, oh! And it didn't really matter when it was filmed. It was just exciting.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Ruth is such a great actress, and she's like one of the reasons I went to go to New York with Sari, because she was in Macbeth with Daniel Craig. So,
oh god, that would have been amazing. I'm jealous.
It was the best night ever because I love the fact that Daniel Craig decided to come out first, which dispersed the entire crowd, which gave me the opportunity to get a photo with Ruth. So
yes. Oh god, I got these new headphones, and let me tell you, they're making my life miserable. Okay. What was I gonna say? Oh, someone in the comments was like, at least I don't have a Quake as my hero poster. I actually, because Sari on TeePublic made those shirts for like everybody. So I actually have a Yo-Yo is my hero shirt, and but I don't think Tony's ever seen it. Nor would he understand it.
You can't wear that yet. And I also specifically have not worn that shirt either, because of obviously Quake. Because Marvel also made that like Sari made all of them for all the characters, right? And then Marvel, I feel like had to be like, wait, this is really cool. We should do this ourselves, and made it a Comic-Con exclusive T-shirt one year. I don't remember.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
And that's what I have. Yeah.
Another thing that I wanted to say, I forgot, was on the tip of my tongue. Jackie, is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of future spoilers this episode?
I don't know. I am very excited that you guys are watching Agent Carter because it introduces Daniel Sousa.
I know. The Susie, like it's gonna be crazy when we get to that. I see Tony's backstage. He's waiting. Now he's carrying his computer. I don't think he knows that I can see him. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. Again, we'll be back on the main channel on March 2nd. Is when our next live show on the main channel. But in the meantime, we're popping off on Patreon, $1 a month. We'd love to see you over there. You know, that $1 a month helps us go to cons. We did apply to a con. I'm not going to say what one yet because we don't know if we got in. But if that did happen, that would be in February, and that would be really exciting. Thank you again to everyone in the chat. We love you guys. Thank you, Jackie, for being here. She's waving. And happy holidays, everybody. We will see you in March. Oh, let me take my head.